Hey everybody, this is Jason Roggasch. I want to make a video today. I made a video earlier and I pulled it. It was about the Mandela effect, and somebody that commented made a great point. I was talking about psychics and stuff, and I kind of got all rambly, which I tend to do in my videos, but I just wanted to be very clear about the Mandela effect. This is a complete lie. It's a made-up science fiction horseshit meme. It's like the Matrix. It's the same goddamn thing. It's just made-up shit. And it heavily relies on quantum physics, quantum mechanics, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance in a lot of ways. This is faith-based bullshit. And what it really it's like synchronicity in a lot of ways. It really shows the gullibility of human beings. And this isn't stupid people that believe in this, by the way. These aren't just idiot morons who don't read or don't. These are people who, I know people who still read Eric von Daniken and think that Chariot of the Gods is good. I know people that still read Sitchin and think that's good. I mean, I do. I know people that read books that are fiction that they think are reality, like by David Icke or by, I can give you a few more artists. They think these are good things. They're not. They're damaging. Anything about ancient aliens, any of that stuff, it's a lie. And it goes to the New Age movement entirely. And that's why the reason I mentioned the psychic in my last video, because psychics are the type of people who use human beings' natural desires to, a conspiracy theorist, for instance, which I am, their natural desire to find out the truth behind the truth. There's always an explanation, something maybe darker. And usually things aren't as simple as just the explanation you're given, so you try to find the truth. And anything interesting that you may think being covered up, and the Mandela effect seems to be, that. And it's all based on the Mandela effect, by the way, was started by a woman who investigates not only the paranormal, but other stuff, scientific, paranormal stuff as well. And she said that she noticed this. She thought that Nelson Mandela had died in the mid-'80s in prison. And in fact, he died in 2013. And she started noticing other people thought the same thing. And that's when she dubbed it the Mandela effect. And there were other examples of this, but that's just the simplest. One of them I used in the video before was the Berenstain Bears. It's actually the Berenstain Bears, but people think it's Berenstein. Again, I don't know. The thing that got me about some of the comments were, debunk it. Debunk some of this stuff. Another thing that was mentioned about debunking about it was theomatics. Using the Bible as numerology and code to predict the future, to scientific facts, whatever. Very, very dangerous to take numerology seriously. We are pattern-seeking creatures, machines. Human beings are pattern-seeking machines. We are. And so we look for patterns constantly, and I think taking numerology too seriously, taking coincidences too seriously is something human beings have been done since the beginning of time. They just do it. And I think trying to going back to the debunking, it's hard to debunk it's like the Stephen Greer saying there are aliens, and here's why. I'll tell you why there's aliens, because that guy over there told me there's aliens. How do you debunk that? Other than saying you're a liar and here's why. You can't debunk, you can't tell, how do you say, other than showing that Nelson Mandela died in 2013, the proof that we all, how do you get through someone's brain that that's total nonsense? Because then they pile it on with pseudoscience, like quantum physics and quantum mechanics. And I'm not saying those things are pseudoscience. I'm saying the people's understanding of them, and they use terminology they don't understand. They use physics terms they don't get. It reminds me, as an analogy, of The Secret. Or the misrepresentation of Heisenberg's principle of you change things when you're looking at them, when you're examining them. And it acts as though we can change reality with our consciousness. That's the secret, that's one of the things. When in fact that would entail you changing planets millions of light years away, changing the sun, changing everything. Not just your little reality, because we all know everything is connected. So if you changed reality with your consciousness, that would mean you've changed everything. And that would mean everybody all the time is changing it's completely science fiction made up horseshit. But that's what it is. It's not fact, it's not reality, it's not real. And if anybody was serious that talks about it, was honest, they would say the same thing. But there's a very large segment of people who want to believe anything and are gullible. And that's why I brought in psychics, because psychics are the people like, And David Wilcox says he was Edgar Casey, but he does not say he's a psychic any longer, which, okay. But people like psychics people that communicate with aliens. Have you ever seen that girl with the blonde hair? What's her name? Destiny or something? And she's British or Irish, and she's a great actress, and she claims that she's channeling other dimensional entity. I mean, it's complete Ramtha. All of this stuff is fucking nonsense. But people are willing to believe it, and these people are, some of them are crazy, some of them are in it for the money, some of it are just flat out, straight up bullshit, and some of it like the attention, whatever. And this idea that any of this, these psychics have been debunked. This idea that you cannot debunk the Mandela effect because it's so ridiculous. There's no way to debunk it. There is no fucking way. And when people give you examples, you start to go examine the examples they give you, and they don't have the examples right. And I'm not going to give people. When people comment on this, because I already know the comments are going to come. I will send them the links to the fucking things that they can look up on if they would just use Google, type in. Ask a question to the goddamn box that you're commenting on, and then come up with an opinion about it. Not, oh, well, I'm going to take the supernatural opinion because that's what I want to believe in. Because I'm using my confirmation bias, and I want to believe that there's some sort of there's the string theory. I can tie it into string theory because string theory proposes that there's all these different dimensions and all these different things going on at once, and these things will bleed into our dimension occasionally, and that's what this Mandela effect is, and it's got some science to it. Synchronicity, the same thing. And it's not. It's horse shit. It reminds me, I don't know if you're old enough to remember Terrence McKenna and his Time Wave Zero. Same bullshit. It's not true. It has the I Ching. Remember all the predictions before 2000? Remember all the predictions before 2012? Do you remember all this stuff? The New Age movement needs new material, and it's constantly, and if some idiot out there creates, I'm not saying it's a large conspiracy of the New Age community, but they'll come up with one thing. Synchronicity was the popular one for a while. Now it's kind of waning again. And it'll come back because it's cyclical. And this thing right now, the Mandela effect, is starting to get a little bit more popularity because it's really provocative. It's really interesting. And David Icke, and of course, these. And again, I'm going to leave you with this. I know smart people who read Sitchin and Von Daniken and read and think they're telling you the truth. And there is nothing wrong with getting information from quote-unquote documentaries, but then go investigate the documentary you're watching, or go investigate the information that you just watched. Go see if What the Bleep Do We Know, the movie, is telling you the truth, which it isn't. But go investigate it, because there's tons and tons out there, and you don't need to rely on some source like everybody in the conspiracy community hates Snopes. Everybody hates him. They all hate him. I agree. They do a lot of very biased things when it concerns 9/11 and other conspiracies. But that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And there's other sources that you can use. Hell, don't even use a source. Go debunk it for yourself. Use your common sense. Does it make sense that people are either misremembering, or does it make sense that other dimensional time changes that have happened are bleeding into our reality? Doesn't that sound more like, bad science fiction than it does reality? Just use your common sense, because you can't debunk somebody saying that something happened to them. That's the worst kind of fucking thing to be stuck in. I get stuck in those conversations all the time with people. Well, Jason, it happened to me. So, good luck trying to debunk. I can't. Okay, great, good for you. And then you have to either call them a liar or you walk away. And let me just leave. Okay, I'll leave you with that thought. But let me just leave you with one more thought about belief and what we remember and who we are as human beings. We are not recording machines. Our subconscious, despite what we've been told by numerous sources, does not record everything flawlessly. We are not cameras. We are not video or audio cameras to picks up everything all the time, and we don't work that way. That's been shown to be, that's more science fiction. That's more pseudoscience garbage. Okay? So your subconscious does pick up more than your conscious mind does, but it also has a bias. It also is informed by things like your diet, how you were raised as a child, how your brain developed physically and mentally, if you were abused, if you had a good childhood, a bad childhood, if you had mixed, it's all your experiences. That's what dictates how your conscious mind and subconscious mind works. And to remove that and pretend as though we all have this memory that just some people would remember and some people wouldn't because they're more tuned in, or they're this or they're that, it's silly, and I think it goes into this idea that the subconscious mind is some kind of machine. Human beings fail all the time in memory. They fail on basic color tests. They fail. The longer somebody has to repeat a story, the more times, the less it makes sense, the less it actually happened. Even if there's a recording of some event and somebody tells the story 20 years later, go look this up. This is in law, happens all the time in trials and cases, and people's memories change. And is everybody the same? Of course not. It varies in degrees. But it goes into this idea that we're machines. I think this Mandela effect thing partially it's a misconception of quantum physics at a base level, and not even a misconception, it's completely made up. And it also has to do with the fact that we are not machines. We are not robots who record everything in our subconscious mind and then our conscious mind. No. We pick up this and we pick up that and we miss things all the time because we are influenced the way we observe anything by our own experiences. And by the way, that's not, the that's not the Heisenberg principle. That has nothing to do with, or the nonsense that when you look away from something, it's not there, and only when you look at it is it there. That's another bastardization. And a lot of it is just physics, that theoretical physics, and it's philosophical physics on a lot of levels as well. And I have videos on my channel that explain a lot of this. And trying to tie on the supernatural with that and science fiction is annoying. I hate when movies do it, fictional movies do it, and I really hate it when people try to present it as real truth. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.